my book is Make Mine a Double, a Mastectomy, that is. It's my personal story of my breast cancer, told with humor, yet it's poignant. It's great for newly diagnosed patients, patients that are going through it at the time, as well as caregivers. What I have this morning is just an excerpt from a chapter of mine. So, this is on chemotherapy. There is not a pamphlet or handout anywhere that gives you accurate information about chemotherapy, the treatment itself, the day of, or the effects. So the following are some of my observations and my feelings on the chemo process. Consider this as my own Welcome, You've Got Cancer brochure, the chemo edition. I walked in and said, "Hi, I'm Beth. I'll take a chair for one, please." And the nurse just laughed on the spot. I further asked if a reservation was needed, as the room looked fairly full. She told me to pick out any chair, sit down, get comfortable, and she'd be right with me. Wait, I wanted to say, you didn't take my drink order. I was never told that I would be there for 6 to 7 hours each time, nor was I told I would be there for 2 days in a row. So on my first day of treatment, I came totally unprepared. I looked around at other people and they had chemo day bags packed. This bag included things like lunch, knitting, laptops, magazines. I felt like the new kid in a really snooty prep school without lunch or a school uniform. Oh boy, what was I the one who could get ABB bored in 10 minutes going to do? What I quickly found out is I had picked the very best chairmate in any chemo room ever. Mary gave me a quick rundown on what would take place as Julie, the cruise director, got everyone situated and in place for the day. I was so nervous and anxious on my first day, not exactly filled with anticipation as much as let's get this show on the road feeling. Not having a clue as to what was going to happen, mainly because I'm not a brochure reading type of gal. I watched with mild horror, mainly a scared butterfly in my stomach feeling, as the chemo nurse started on another patient. My best lesson thus far was the first one hooked up is the first one to leave. Mental note to self, arrive early. There is a nurse's station in the room which resembles an information desk at any large mall or visitor center, and this desk is busy all day long. People asking questions, patients getting blood taken, doctors coming in with directions. It is a very busy stop in the chemo room. You are weighed so they can accurately mix your cocktail. Just an FYI here, in this case, you can drink and drive. The nurses take turns playing mixologists. The only thing missing was a tip jar. The mixing and measuring that goes on ensures the patient that they are receiving the correct doses, and to watch this take place is nothing short of fascinating. When you have cancer, chances are you don't even know it because there are no symptoms. This, to me, is why chemotherapy was worse than the cancer itself. There is no ignoring the therapy they are giving you to try to save your life because symptoms abound. Of course, each person's side effects are different, even if we are all in the room together. Never any good side effects either. God forbid chemo could help thicken your hair, improve your IQ, or reduce wrinkles. One Thursday, I called my oncologist and asked if I could come in. When I got there, I looked at him and simply said, "I can't do this anymore. I'm done." He looked at me and simply said, "I'll see you Monday." I said, "I'll see you Monday." I just wanted someone who got it to hear me out and know that I was not having fun anymore. After my chemo push, I would start to feel warm inside and get a flush in my cheeks. As the nurse was pushing the chemo, I would visualize each cancer cell being destroyed, kind of like the chemo was an AK-47. It was a glorious feeling to me. I just knew I was winning my fight. We all know patience is a virtue, and one that I don't have much of. But in the chemo room, I became a stunning role model for patients. I quickly learned that chemo, or the process itself, cannot be rushed. During chemo, my oncologist would stroll through the chemo room, much like the captain of a ship. "How are you today?" Waving, he would stop, have a cookie, shake a visitor's hand. After all, he is a rock star. When he would get to me, he became the walking news reporter. The first time he told me that my free-floating cancer cell test was a 3. This is very good, Beth, very good. The second time he told me that my genetic test came back and I was BRCA2 positive, which meant that I had an 87% chance of getting breast cancer in my other breast, as well as ovarian cancer. He further explained that I should see a genetic specialist. I looked him straight in the eye and said, make mine a double. So, my book will be out July, and at my table you can leave me your information or take a card of mine, and I'm happy to tell you a little bit more about my experience. Cancer is not a death sentence, and if you go through it with a little humor and a positive attitude, hopefully we come out with a positive result. Thank you for listening this morning.